Today's topic is going to be work, because a lot of what I'm seeing online, because I've been spending an awful lot of time online lately, not only because that's a large portion of my social life, but because I've been trying to figure out how to do the whole video vlogging thing. I'm still very new. And I do have a job outside of this, obviously, because I've pretty much never done this before. I did one video a long time ago about parenting, and when I saw it now, I got part of the way through it and I was like, oh man, this is boring. So people were saying Greg, slash Onision, who I talked about in my last video, they were talking about how he should get a real job because of what YouTube's been doing, kind of censoring YouTubers, making them, not talk about, I guess cursing they always didn't want people to do, but discussing the government, discussing just general things that should be covered under freedom of speech. They've been keeping YouTubers, from what I understand, from receiving their full pay due to either the way they're restricting content or other means, and they're getting like a tenth of the pay they've been getting for the last few years, which is obviously ridiculous, because if you started, getting thousands or even millions of dollars from YouTube, you'd come to rely on that income. If you were getting, I have no idea, honestly, how much they make, even when they've got, like, millions of subscribers. I imagine it's a lot. So if you're making like $10,000 a month off of just doing YouTube videos, and that takes up a considerate portion of your day because you're doing multiple videos a day, not only actually having a topic, but recording, editing, if it's what you base your life around, why wouldn't you want that as a job? I mean, if you could make $10,000 a month doing YouTube videos, why on earth would you go get a $10 an hour job to have them take like 30% of it in taxes, and and take home, like, even if it was like full-time working 8 hours a day, and you take home like $300 a week. $1,200 a month, $10,000 a month. Is this 8 hours to 9 hours because of lunch break of my time really worth wasting on money that actually doesn't change my life? Why would you get a job? Why wouldn't you fight to get those $10,000 a month back, So I fully understand where he's coming from. I've worked full-time jobs. Right now I'm lucky enough to only work 4 hours a day in, like, the middle of the night, because that's what suits my life best right now, and that's literally all I can really do right now as far as employment, for personal reasons, which I'm going to, I have a child, but I'm also not going to involve them in my video making, just because everything that I've seen, it just seems like a good idea to keep my child out of my videos. So that's going to happen. I do have a child, and no, I will not be talking about them aside from this. I live in the US, and what does working really accomplish here? If you're lucky, it gets you a bedroom for rent, from what I can see, unless you've been working for, like, at least 10 to 20 years, and you've got this amazing degree and this amazing experience in this amazing company. You're probably making maybe $15 an hour, let's just say the average person, and that covers really nothing. It'll cover, like, a room for rent, maybe an apartment for rent, if you have good credit and never went to college and, never had to pay thousands of dollars and always had a cheap, shitty car. Maybe then you can afford an apartment. But there's not a chance in hell that you can afford a house working without accruing debt. Work, I've heard things said about it's technically considered slavery if all you have is food and the means to exist, like housing. And that's pretty much what you get working in the US. You get food because, regardless, like, if you have a job, that goes to your food stamps, which you get because you're low income, because everybody's under the poverty line. Everybody I know is financially unhappy. Everyone. Except for rich people who are busy having fun, perfect lives, so they don't really have time for friendship. But I don't think there's a snowball's chance in hell I'll ever afford a house. There was one house that I thought, oh, maybe if I saved up for years and years, I could afford this house if it was still for sale at that point. It was $67,000, right? I mean, I live in California, so there's that. I really don't want to live outside of California. I grew up here. I love the beaches, the amusement parks. I would rather be a bum here than live in damp, sweaty, humidville, friggin' Florida, or some other sad, depressing place. Sorry, guys, in Florida. But, I mean, housing here is expensive, you know? And this house was particularly, you know, $67,000. I'm thinking, what's wrong with it? And, of course, it's got a broken roof. It needs entirely new plumbing. It's in some sad part of a very nice city, but still, you know, that's a lot of money. I mean, I would be paying that off probably, I mean, on a 30-year loan for the rest of my life if I'm lucky enough to live, you know, past 50 years old. And I don't want that. Nobody wants that. You don't want to be working 8 hours a day for your entire life, because that's most of your life. If you're not, you know, let's think of how much time you really have not sleeping and not being at work, getting ready for work, driving to work, driving home. I mean, you have to have time to eat unless you're just living off of vitamins or that soylent stuff that actually looks really cool. I might get into that. But there's no time to really live life. And so if I could make some kind of living off of doing videos and worked hard on that all day and could afford a house and to exist and afford, you know, for the child that, once again, only mentioning in this video, that I am supporting alone, by the way, haha, asshole, I would do this forever. I mean, who wouldn't? You can't get mad or get jealous, is what I think it is, just because somebody managed to make a video entertaining others or because other people want to listen to what they have to say. I hope I'm that inspirational. I hope people think, oh man, I want to spend time with that person as much as I can. I want to spend time with that person as much as I can through their videos. I want to build a connection with that person. I want to learn about that person. I want to hear what that person has to say. And that person gets paid for it. Why not? So, when it comes to work, you can't really judge other people's decisions. I mean, you don't know what they're able to do. You don't know what they need to support. Yeah, I understand the living beyond means thing, because I have no interest in living beyond means. The closest I've come to living beyond means is I went to one of those for-profit colleges, you know, the ones in the commercials where they, oh, you know, come be a nurse, come do art, or I actually was interested in the Art Institute, but they wanted like $30,000+ and it didn't seem worth it. What I really have always kind of wanted to do is do geriatric care, take care of elderly dementia patients, because of this very kind woman that I used to call Nana that I helped take care of when I was in my younger and much less fortunate years. She got me interested in befriending elderly people who didn't really seem to have anybody to rely on. And so from there I wanted to get into geriatrics, and I realized that there were all these things that I needed to be able to do, like, you know, legally having the ability to give her medications. Legally, I need to be able to, you know, watch for certain symptoms, you know, because she may become unable to speak, unable to convey what she needs. I need to be able to change a colostomy bag, all that fun stuff. And so I got a degree as a medical assistant, which also came with a venipuncture license. Now, years later, it turns out that venipuncture license is no longer valid for today's licensing. So I wound up wasting thousands of dollars, college grants, on this school that was absolutely pointless and did nothing to benefit my life. Not only were there, you know, millions of other people looking for all the same medical assistant jobs, which, you know, hospitals don't really need medical assistants. They need nurses and doctors and staff to deal with the endless phone calls, and that's it. They don't really need medical assistants for anything. They need administrative assistants for paperwork, but I came to find out after graduation, and despite what the college said about helping place us in jobs, they don't help place you in jobs at all. You know what they do? They literally go to Craigslist, they type in medical assistant in the search bar, and then they print the results. That's your job placement assistance, right? Yeah, way to talk it up. So, years later, I mean, I'm 27 now. I still have like $9,000 and something to go. And that smashed my credit, of course, because over the years of like poverty and supporting said child alone for the last 6 years, I haven't been able to afford much college. I mean, even now, recording videos in a bathtub because we're sharing a bedroom. So hopefully sharing my experience with you guys will help me get past that. Maybe not too much. Maybe if I only make like $20 from the sad 1/10 of YouTube videos that I would have been making like last year, it's something. So it's going to help out, and I'm going to keep trying to do this because I got to try every little thing I can, and if you guys like me, hooray for the internet. Yay Patreon. Thank you for watching, and I hope I'm not taking up too much of your time before you have to go back to work. Have a nice day.